The Los Angeles Dodgers have made another signing as they have added a lengthy right-hander. We talk about this sneaky signing and a multitude of different things behind it, why Andrew Freeman made the move, and what he is doing in the back scenes as well. We'll get you all of it right here on Dodgers Digest. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Jace Andrews. I appreciate you tuning in, hanging out with me here on today's show. I want to say Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. Hope you're having a wonderful time here at the end of the year. Hopefully you're with family, and if not, man, we're glad you're joining it here with us, and we hope you're having a great day. Let's talk about what the Dodgers and Andrew Freeman have been able to do this offseason. Now, Freeman gets a lot of credit for the big moves. Obviously, guys like this, Freeman has been able to lock him down. But what he doesn't get credit for a lot is the smaller moves that he makes. And we've talked about that a couple of different times, but if you talk about the Edwin Diaz move, obviously it's the best closer in baseball that he signed to the contract, and it was the thing the Dodgers needed most. But you don't talk about the guys like Michael Ciani, who could be a great defensive replacement, Miguel Rojas, who was a World Series hero and could potentially provide very good things for the Dodgers in 2026. A lot of these guys that we see on the kind of transaction log, they could be pieces that we talk about a lot more later on. Now, that is tenfolded when you talk about Chucky Robinson, a catcher that was signed. We talked about him on this show. And then, of course, Nick Frasso, a right-handed pitcher who was with the Dodgers, got non-tendered. Nobody signed him. So the Dodgers said, we like you. We want you back. Originally a top-tier prospect. See if they can get him back to that level. Lots of good small signings. Well, today, Andrew Freeman has done another one as he has gotten a very good 6'7" pitcher. That is another one who is reuniting with the Los Angeles Dodgers as he was traded away to the Athletics in the Ruiz trade and now signed back to Los Angeles here today. It is a very good move for a couple of different reasons. Lengthy right-hander, some good things to talk about, but also I think it really does speak to the Dodgers and how well they like to scout their talent. And the guys that they trade away, it's not because they don't believe in them. It's not because they don't feel as though they can provide stuff to them. Or even guys that they didn't originally sign or non-tender or whatever. Andrew Freeman trusts in every signing he makes. And if he likes you and you're still available, he's going to go out and get you. That's pretty predominant with the moves he has made this offseason. And so let's talk about the guy he signed today, which is Carlos Duran. Now, he was signed to a deal minor league deal back on technically December 10th, the official transaction just kind of coming through here. After coming up through LA system, Duran was traded to the A's last year for Esteury Ruiz. He made his MLB debut pitching in one game for the A's alongside 37 games for AAA Las Vegas, which is, of course, the A's AAA affiliate. But again, they play in Sacramento, so he's always playing in AAA places. To get a little more information, we go to John Paul Hornstra of Newsweek saying, quote, Duran was the Dodgers' number 16 prospect entering the 2022 season, and he made his AAA debut at Oklahoma City in 2024. He made one appearance for the Dodgers' top farm team in 2025 before the trade, allowing 3 hits, 1 run, and 4 walks in 4.1 innings. He also struck out 8 batters, end quote. Now, what has he done since then? He obviously made his major league debut with the A's, and, it wasn't exactly the way that you would expect as we look at his MLB stats / MILB stats. We can see a couple of different things. The first is, probably the one that your eyes get attracted to, is his MLB ERA is an 81 because he's pitched in one game. And we'll go to the game log here in just a moment. Looking besides that, a 4.27 MILB earned run average last season was a little bit higher than that. Did have a 4-0 record. Again, most of those, of course, being with the Las Vegas AAA team for the A's. Some of that, or rather I should say one of that, with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, the reason that ERA is so high is because that one game that he did pitch in was against the Los Angeles Angels, and he had 0.1 innings pitched, allowing a hit, 3 runs, 3 earned runs, and 3 walks. It was all about control. It really was. They weren't swinging and missing. Well, they were swinging and missing, but they were just not being able to have a full at-bat from Duran. So I'm hoping that can kind of change, and a couple of slight fixes, slight changes, especially when it's really based on control, that can be something that could really kind of figure out a way for the Dodgers to construct him back to a top-tier pitcher, or at least a top-tier prospect that he once was. So let's talk more about Duran and what the kind of hope is for him. So we'll go back to a report here, John Paul Hornstra of Newsweek saying, quote, the A's promoted Duran to the big leagues for the first time on April 30th, the first of his 2 big league stints in Sacramento. Duran spent most of his time with the A's AAA affiliate. He had an 8 ERA and a 1.96 whip over 27 innings for the Las Vegas Aviators when he was designated for assignment on June 8th. So never really survived much, and then after the season came along, he elected a free agency, which we see from the report right here, again from John Paul Hunstra of Newsweek. Quote, Duran elected free agency after the season and ultimately chose to return to the organization that traded him just 8 months earlier. Still, just 24 years old, Duran has a chance to contribute to a Dodgers bullpen that struggled en route to see a second consecutive World Series championship in 2025, end quote. It's no secret the Dodgers' weakness this past season was their bullpen. They need to get that figured out. And while you can look at the signing of Edwin Diaz, you can look at the construction of the bullpen this year and look at it from an outside perspective, see the Major League roster and think, okay, is that going to be enough? But the way that Andrew Freeman looks at it and the way that a lot of us diehard baseball fans look at it is like, okay, what are some guys that are maybe not at the Major League level or about to be at the Major League level that could help out for this upcoming season? And I think that Duran is actually a very good kind of symbol of this. I want to take a look at a couple of some intense stats, or not more, I don't know what the right word, I can't think of it right now. I was going to say intrusive stats, but that's not either, but more intrinsic stats. There we go. So let's take a look at that now. We go to Baseball Savant and take a look at his 3-pitch mix of a 4-seam, sinker, and slider. Again, very limited here on the Baseball Savant, specifically because he only pitched in 0.1 innings for the A's. Now, that being said, we can still look at a couple of different things because the stuff that is red, that's the stuff that he was very good at, which, again, average exit velo was great. They weren't getting the ball off the bat that wide. His fastball velo, upper percentile there as well. Nobody was barreling it. Nobody was getting a hard hit because, again, it was a one-hit night. Like it just was unfortunate for him that he couldn't find the strike zone and proceeded to, of course, load the bases up, have the hit. It really just didn't go well for him. I still think there's a lot in there. And it's tough because we talk about his stats coming off of that and it not being good. I mean, you go back to the report here where we talk about him having an 8 ERA with a 1.96 whip over 27 innings after the fact that he was put onto that Major League roster. It does a lot of damage when you go up to the major leagues and it doesn't work out. There's so many times now in Major League Baseball where GMs, managers, front office staff, they're a little bit concerned to bring some people up because they don't want them to get up, not be ready, and then damage their confidence. And to me, that's exactly what happened to Carlos Duran. I think he could very easily be a guy that the Dodgers end up liking a lot and somebody that I think could really contribute this season. Now, that being said, he's going to have to take a tryout, quote-unquote, with the AAA team at the Oklahoma City Comets now with the Oklahoma City Dodgers. And I really do think that if he can go down there, prove himself, the Dodgers think are a good team to have him just because they knew his worth before he went to the A's. And if it is a mental thing, very easily can kind of pop him back on track again. Like I said, this guy was a number 16 prospect recently, and I think could very much get back to that same level. It's ultimately about his mental stability and the really downright abilities of him to control that fastball, to control that sinker, to control that slider. We go back again to that Baseball Savant. You can kind of see the movement of that slider is fantastic. I like the move of the sinker because it looks a lot like the fastball. You can see, but again, he wasn't locating it as good. So if he can locate his pitches, lots of good things could be coming for Carlos Duran. That's the signing here today. We do appreciate you watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And if we don't see you until then, have a great Christmas or holiday season. And for now, peace out, everybody.